Shalom, shalom everybody. Welcome to the Old City of Jerusalem, where I'm standing in the center, and this is the Golden Menorah, made out of 100% real gold, recreated for the first time since the destruction of the Second Temple by the Romans 2,000 plus years ago. This Golden Menorah is fit and ready for lighting in the Third Temple after we rebuild it, please God. Now, walk with me to where we have a nice view of the Temple Mount. Did you know that the Jewish temple is a central aspect of the Chanukah holiday? Yes, the Jewish temple on the Temple Mount that so many people in the world today say that Jews have no connection to, that our Temple Mount belongs to the Muslims. Yeah, that Temple Mount, the holiest sites of the Jewish people, it is a central aspect of the Chanukah holiday, yet it receives hardly any attention. Well, I am here to help fix that for all of you. But before I do, I just want to say thank you for joining me, Abelow, for another episode of the Pulse of Israel, for the politically incorrect truth about Israel, the Jewish people, and the freedom-loving world. If you are not yet a subscriber, please visit pulseofisrael.com to subscribe. And if you like this video, and you want to help us get it seen by more people, just click on the donate button so we can help boost the video to be seen by more people. Okay, now let me read you the book of Maccabees 1, chapter 4, starting from verse 36, as we walk down towards the view of the Temple Mount. Judah and his brothers said, "Now that our enemies have been defeated, let's go to Jerusalem to purify the temple and rededicate it." So the whole army was assembled and went up to Mount Zion. There they found the temple abandoned, the altar profaned, the gates burned down, the courtyards grown up in a forest of weeds, and the priests' rooms torn down. In their sorrow they tore their clothes, cried loudly, threw ashes on their heads, and fell face down on the ground. When the signal was given on the trumpets, everyone cried out to the Lord. Then Judah ordered some of his soldiers to attack the men in the fort while he purified the temple. He chose some priests who were qualified and who were devoted to the law. They purified the temple and took the stones that had been defiled and put them in an unclean place. They discussed what should be done with the altar of burnt offerings, which had been desecrated by the Greeks, and decided to tear it down so that it would not stand there as a monument to their shame. So they tore down the altar and put the stones in a suitable place on the temple hill, where they were to be kept until a prophet should appear and decide what to do with them. Then they took uncut stones as the law of Moses required and built a new altar like the old one. And here we come to the Temple Mount. They repaired the temple inside and out and dedicated its courtyards. They made new utensils for worship and brought the lampstand, the altar of incense, and the table for the bread into the temple. They burned incense on the altar and lit the lamps on the lampstand, and there was light in the temple. They placed the loaves of bread on the table, hung the curtains, and completed all the work. The 25th day of the 9th month, the month of Kislev in the year 148, was the anniversary of the day the Greeks had desecrated the altar. On that day, a sacrifice was offered on the new altar in accordance with the law of Moses. The new altar was dedicated, and hymns were sung to the accompaniment of harps, lutes, and cymbals. All the people bowed down with their faces to the ground and worshipped and praised the Lord for giving them victory. For 8 days they celebrated the rededication of the altar. With great joy, they brought burnt offerings and offered fellowship offerings and thank offerings. They decorated the front of the temple with gold crowns and shields, rebuilt the gates and the priests' rooms, and put doors on them. Now that the Jews had removed the shame which the Greeks had brought, they held a great celebration. Then Judah, his brothers, and the entire community of Israel decreed that the rededication of the altar should be celebrated with a festival of joy and gladness at the same time each year, beginning on the 25th of the month of Kislev and lasting for 8 days. Now that we heard the historical account from the book of Maccabees, which clearly states the centrality of the Temple Mount to the Chanukah holiday, I want to leave everyone with the following 3 questions about the Temple Mount. Number 1, how come we let anti-Israel people like Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez get away with wishing Happy Hanukkah while letting them lie to their constituents that the Jewish people have no connection to Israel, Jerusalem, or even the Temple Mount, when they are central to the Chanukah holiday? Just look at this picture I tweeted, tagging them, showing the battles between the Maccabees and the Greek army that made up the Chanukah holiday. They mostly all took place in Judea and Samaria. And I wrote, remind them that the Chanukah story mostly took place in Judea and Samaria, hundreds of years before any Arab stepped into the land of Israel or even Muhammad was born. And yet obviously the story took place on the Temple Mount. These are simple truths you can share this Chanukah with all of your networks. Number 2, now that we focused on how the Jewish temple is central to the Chanukah holiday, how come there is so little emphasis on the temple going up to the Temple Mount and rebuilding our temple today? Okay. And number 3, why do so many Jews believe it is forbidden to go up to the Holy Temple Mount? If the Maccabees were able to go up to the Temple Mount back in the days of the Chanukah story to purify it. This is all just some food for thought. And while standing here at the menorah that's going to be lit on Chanukah here at the Kotel, before this upcoming Chanukah, remember, we, the Jewish people, are home again, as sovereign in our ancestral homeland, and we are blessed. Central to everything is our Jewish identity. Central to our Jewish identity is a deep belief in God above, who is always looking out for us even if we don't get it or understand it. And central to our faith is the importance of that place, the Temple Mount up above, to our identity as a people, as the Jewish people. Even though few of our leaders today speak about the centrality of the Temple Mount and what it means to us on a spiritual level, both as a nation and as individuals, I'm here to help focus our attention on the holy site up above and its centrality to us all. Even with all the craziness going around us today, our future as a Jewish people is bright. Hey, the Maccabees defeated the mighty Greek Empire and liberated our holy temple, even overcoming the vast amount of Hellenized Jews who sided with our enemy, the Greeks. Today, it's so different. A vast majority of Jews in Israel today are proud Jews regardless of their religious level, and they proclaim a deep faith in God above. Yes, we have many challenges to overcome. I'm the first to admit that, but we can overcome them together. The Maccabees overcame the Greeks. We can overcome our challenges today. And if you have yet to go up to the Holy Temple Mount above, contact High On The Har today for a special tour of our holiest site. Connecting to this holy place as individuals and as a people is a key to freeing the true Jewish spirit in our people to best be prepared for all of our challenges. Signing off from the foot of the Temple Mount, the holiest place for the Jewish people and for humanity.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.